The Crusades and the shaping of the medieval knightly code. The Crusades, 1096 to 1291, were not only a defining series of conflicts in medieval history, but also a transformative force in shaping the cultural and ethical ideals of the medieval knight. Emerging as both warriors and devout Christians, Knights of the Crusades found their identity intertwined with a code of conduct that emphasized martial prowess, religious devotion, and chivalric virtues. Over time, the experiences of the Crusades forged and refined this knightly code, blending European feudal traditions with religious zeal and a sense of honor. This narrative explores how the Crusades influenced the ideals of knighthood and the development of the medieval knightly code, which became the foundation for the concept of chivalry. Chapter 1. The Origins of Knighthood and Early Feudal Codes. Before the Crusades, the role of knights in medieval Europe was largely defined by the feudal system. Knights were mounted warriors sworn to serve their lords in exchange for land or wealth. Their loyalty and conduct were governed by practical obligations rather than lofty ideals. Key characteristics of early knighthood. Military prowess. Knights were expected to excel in combat, particularly in the use of cavalry and heavy armor, which defined European warfare in the early medieval period. Feudal obligations. Their primary duty was to defend their lord's lands and participate in feuds or territorial disputes. Personal ambition. Early knights often pursued wealth and power, with little concern for moral or ethical codes beyond loyalty to their immediate lords. Religion, while an important aspect of medieval life, had not yet fully integrated into the knightly ethos. The Crusades changed this dynamic by intertwining martial service with religious duty. Chapter 2. The Crusades and the Sacralization of Knighthood. The First Crusade, 1096 to 1099, marked a turning point in the role of knights. Pope Urban II's call to arms at the Council of Clermont, 1095, transformed the idea of knighthood by framing warfare as a divine mission. For the first time, knights were encouraged to see their martial skills as instruments of God's will. Religious justification for violence. Holy war. Knights were told that fighting for the liberation of Jerusalem and other holy sites would absolve them of sin and secure eternal salvation. Penance through combat. Participation in the Crusades was framed as a form of penitence, elevating the moral significance of a knight's martial actions. This integration of faith and warfare redefined knighthood, transforming knights from mere warriors into soldiers of Christ. The blending of religious devotion and martial duty laid the foundation for what would become the knightly code of chivalry. Chapter 3. The Evolution of Chivalric Ideals. As the Crusades progressed, the concept of chivalry emerged, blending martial, religious, and social values into an idealized code of conduct. The Crusades played a central role in shaping these values. 1. Martial valor and loyalty. The Crusades emphasized the importance of bravery, discipline, and loyalty, as knights faced both the perils of battle and the challenges of long campaigns in foreign lands. Feudal loyalty. While knights owed allegiance to their lords, the Crusades introduced the idea of serving a higher cause, God and Christendom. Unity and brotherhood. The shared hardships of the Crusades fostered a sense of camaraderie among knights, who began to see themselves as part of a larger, divine mission. 2. Religious piety. The Crusades reinforced the idea that a knight's duty extended beyond the battlefield to include religious devotion. Protection of the weak. Inspired by Christian teachings, knights were expected to defend the innocent, particularly women, children, and the clergy. Service to God. Regular participation in Mass, prayer, and acts of charity became integral to the knightly identity. 3. Honor and ethical conduct. The Crusades exposed knights to diverse cultures and complex political dynamics, fostering a more nuanced understanding of honor and diplomacy. Respect for enemies. Encounters with formidable Muslim leaders like Saladin shaped the idea of respecting worthy adversaries, contributing to the ideal of magnanimity in victory. Codes of conduct. Knights were encouraged to avoid unnecessary cruelty, plunder, or betrayal, though this ideal was often more aspirational than practiced. Chapter 4. The Military Orders and Institutionalized Chivalry. The Crusades also gave rise to military orders, such as the Knights Templar, the Knights Hospitaller, and the Teutonic Knights. These orders institutionalized the fusion of knighthood and religious life, creating a